So you talked to me about the process of trying to go back to your house. Was it firefighters that stopped you, police? I mean, is it cordoned off?
There's police. Yesterday it was police, and today it's police and firefighters. I can't get in.
Yeah, what do you want the rest of the country to know, and really the rest of your state, California, because it is such a big state, and this is happening in one of the areas where the most people live in your state?
You know, you're not alone. We are really, you know, it's a flashback to the pandemic, and this is a very concentrated area. But you are not alone. This is beyond devastating. This is the moment we will all remember. And yet I have to think, like, there is no creation without destruction. You know, like this is yes, this is the end, but it has to be the beginning again. Like, we have to look forward to now what? How can we learn? How can we grow from this? Like, this is not the breaking of us. This is the making of us.
Marissa, do people in your community, do they have insurance on their homes? And does the insurance that you would purchase, would it cover a disaster like this?
I have no idea. I have no idea. How can you cover a disaster like this? I mean, what's the price on this? This is generations of love and memories and families. This is a whole town.
Marissa, we thank you for your time. I really hope that maybe there is something that you can bring back from your house. I know you're going to be there for your kids and for your friends and family. We thank you for talking to us. I can promise you we're not going to forget your community, and we're going to stay on this. And again, yeah. I hope you find some peace at some point. Yeah, we will. We definitely will. Our special coverage of the Los Angeles wildfires continues. Firefighters struggling with hydrants running dry. Can you believe this? And the major concerns about air quality as smoke blankets the region. Our reporters on the ground as the fires continue to rage. Stay with us. How can something like this happen in Los Angeles in 2025? Walk our viewers through why there's a problem with the fire hydrants.
Yeah, Tom, let's start with the water pressure here, right? We've heard from officials they prepared for one massive fire, two massive fires, maybe three, but to have four essentially generational wildfires happening at the same time, that is what drained these water reserves overnight, to the point where we heard in the Palisades fire at 3 a.m. they ran out of water. Now, we're about 30 miles to the east for the Eaton fire. What began as a 400-acre blaze this time yesterday, now more than 10,000 acres, killing 5 people. The city of Altadena that we're standing in right now has been impacted generationally, Tom. I'm standing in front of a junior high, the roof about to cave in, likely because of a single ember landing on top of that roof, gaining enough traction to spread that fire. And we've seen multiple fire trucks pull in, connect to a hydrant behind me. They can spray as best they can from a distance. But again, Tom, a little wind spreading this fire so quickly, even with multiple engines on a blaze like this, there's only so much they can do. And I think what was so frustrating is when we heard it from not one, not two, but multiple fire crews telling us when we pull up to a hydrant, we don't expect there to be water pressure. And that's why we witnessed multiple times this afternoon them kind of standing, taking defensive positions and doing their best to make sure it didn't spread to a nearby building. But then eventually having to fall back and just watch a building burn because there was nothing to fight it with, Tom.
I mean, I can't fathom this watching this. I can't imagine if I lived there in that city and this was happening to my fire department. I want to ask you, I know you've been speaking to residents. Talk to me about what you're hearing.
A lot of people still don't know if their home stands or not. I shared a video driving through one of the main thoroughfares in Altadena earlier today, posted it to social media. Tom, I can't tell you how many people were asking me, what about this cross street? What about this cross street? They still can't get back to their homes because, as you can see behind me, fires are still actively burning at this hour. I think there's somewhat of an understanding that typically within about 24 hours or so, we've seen our fire pros be able to contain large blazes, especially in an urban environment. That's not the case here because they don't have the water. They're stretched too thin and the winds keep going. So all of that combined means we're looking at another very long firefight tonight. And that is a real fear for people. They don't know if their home is still standing or not. I did speak to one family as I stood in front of a burning apartment building. A gentleman and his wife pulled up in a car. They said he wanted to see if his mother's apartment still stood. Hers did. It was next door to this burning building. And I asked them how they've been personally impacted. Tommy said between his family and his wife's family, they have 5 family members that have lost homes as a result of these fires in the greater Los Angeles area. 5 people in really a single family. So that is the scale of what's playing out right here. And we're not even close to it being done.
Yeah, and when we talk about more than 1,000 structures, so many of those are homes where people live their lives. They raise their children, as we saw with Jacob Soboroff, where generations live and sleep, and now it's gone. Okay, Morgan Chesky, we thank you for your reporting.